Hello and welcome to video 2 in week 1 of the In a Sense Body Awareness Pilot Programme. In this session we'll take some time to familiarise ourselves with the structure of the 8-week programme. So throughout this programme we use 3 types of learning. We use short, informal educational videos with facts and figures about how your body works. These aim to give you an up-to-date and credible scientific explanation of why internal bodily sensations are really worth paying attention to, and how over time they can be used in a beneficial way. The second type of learning is through experiential body awareness exercises. So you're provided with an exercise each week and encouraged to practice throughout the week and make use of the In a Sense menu containing a range of exercises. And the third, but certainly not the least important style of learning, are the self-reflection questions. These are a chance for you to reflect on what you've understood from the educational videos and what you've noticed in your body through the experiential exercises. This is a chance to sit back and figure out the relevance to everyday life for those very real signals originating inside your body. There's a kind of journey we'll be going on together during the next 8 weeks, all themed around the topic of change. So as you begin to spend more time tuning into bodily sensations, we'll take you through this process. The process is notice, explore, influence and enjoy. The first step, to notice, is simply about giving bodily sensations more time and attention than you may have done previously. It's an essential step for building this type of awareness. The next step is explore, and it's a chance to review the significance of your feelings. From there we move on to influencing, and this is where we discover how to influence these feelings, and there are several ways to go about this. One common way is through changing how we breathe. And finally, enjoy. It's all about integrating these changes into everyday life in ways that work for you and turning your attention back to the outside world. And this is a good time to note a point that we'll return to throughout the programme. And that is the difference between simply paying attention to bodily sensations and how we interpret those sensations. So for example, people with panic disorders are hypersensitive to what's going on inside their body. And it could be argued that they're paying too much attention to their bodily sensations and interpreting them in a way that's kind of catastrophizing. So for example, noticing that my heart is beating fast must mean that there's something wrong, when that might not be the case. So here are the titles for each of the 8 weekly sessions. Each is themed around the idea of change. I'll run through each week briefly with you now. And don't worry if some of what I say doesn't make sense right now, or if it's hard to see how these topics relate to bodily sensations and stress and performance in life. That's all okay. And that's why we actually have 8 weeks to work through all of this. So week 1 is where we are now, and as well as serving as an introductory week and allowing us to find our feet and run through the principles of the programme, we start to learn how our bodies are actually geared up to find stability through change. In video 3, the next video this week, you'll be introduced to the idea of body budgeting, a phrase I'm borrowing from the renowned neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett. In week 2, we dive into the science of interoception, and for the purpose of this course, we're calling interoception a gateway to change. And that's because the overall premise we're working from is that paying attention to bodily sensations is a worthwhile thing to do for our overall health, mental well-being, and day-to-day performance. It's helpful in week 2 to spend time characterising interoception a bit more, because it gives you a credible explanation for how bodily processes such as the beating of your heart, the cycle of your breath, contraction of tissues give rise to feelings. It's the starting point for understanding how your body responds to stresses in the world that have been bothering you, limiting you, or holding you back. And it helps you understand how the practical, experiential exercises can help us to regulate our feelings and energy levels even better, and integrate a new way of being into everyday life. From here we move on to week 3, and this is titled Change is Possible. In this session we look at how our bodies are actually changing and adapting all the time in many ways. It's a normal feature of everyday life. We give special focus on the phenomena of neuroplasticity in this week, which is all about the rewiring of the machinery in your body. For the purpose of the In a Sense program, neuroplasticity helps us understand how we can adapt and progress in life through changing the structure and function of our nervous system. This week is all about building hope, and we've included this because so many people who've been suffering for a long time or feel stuck and unable to work towards a goal can lose a sense of hope. Week 4 is titled Managing Change. In week 4 we cover more basic biology of how information is relayed around our body in order to help us manage our energy resources. We'll learn about the nuts and bolts that allow information to constantly flow between our organs and our brain, as well as in and out from the world around us. This vital information helps us understand that there are no gaps, no separation between invisible mental functions that we associate with the brain and physical outcomes. Every time we have a change in perception, there's an associated change in our physiology. Week 5 is titled Deliberate Change. In this session we look more at the scientific model that indicates our brains are prediction-making machines rather than reaction machines. It builds on the idea of how the body communicates to manage its resources and budget, and suggests that evolution has figured out it's more efficient for us to predict and correct rather than react. We'll start to see the place that feelings inside our body have for this continuous generation of an anticipatory model of the world around us. We'll see how this relates to our inherent drive to move away from things that will harm us or deplete our energy levels and move towards things that make us feel good. We'll cover what happens when we fail to update these prediction errors and when the margin of error is out of proportion to what we need to feel healthy and happy and adapt to real life situations. So this is an incredible insight, and we can begin to see how to gain more control of part of our body budgeting system that may previously have felt beyond our control. Week 6 is titled Consistent Change, and it's a chance to pause and reflect and recap what we've learned in the previous 5 sessions. There's an emphasis in this week on starting to focus on how we want to feel inside our body rather than how we don't want to feel, and it's preparing us for session 7, which has the potential to create the biggest transformation of all. Week 6 is all about building confidence, reflecting on how far we've gone, and congratulating yourself on the journey so far. Week 7 is titled Changing the Meaning. This session explores how a sense of meaning arises in our experience. We discover that meaning can be assigned actively and passively, and we look at how a sense of meaning and purpose are linked to health and longevity, and the role of bodily sensations in meaning creation. This week offers a big turning point for you to apply everything that's been learned so far, how these amazing features of your body to manage energy levels and resources open you up to a new way of looking at a goal or challenging situation. It's a chance to question when a feeling arises in my body, what it signifies, as we prepare to integrate what we've learned into everyday life. Week 8 is the final session, and it's a chance to recap on the points learned from the series and a chance to think about how we might want to use improved body awareness in everyday life after the course has finished. So that's a brief run through of the educational videos for each of the 8 weeks. I'll touch briefly now on the body awareness exercises. So each week we'll provide a different type of body awareness exercise. The aim is to get used to these gradually over the 8-week period. You have a whole range of exercises to choose from. Some of them are less than a minute, a quick check-in with the body, others up to 20 minutes long. Most of them can be done sitting or lying down. Towards the end of the 8 weeks we have some options for exercises that can be done whilst moving as well. You'll also have a library to choose from. We have contributions from therapists and practitioners who've added their favourite internal body awareness exercises to the InnerSense library. So a little reminder of the estimated time commitment from you for this course. We estimate an hour per week for the 8 weeks, and that's including the exercises and self-reflection questions. But there's no upper limit. We expect that this is like learning any other skill. The more we practice it, the more skilled we become. We'll also send you email reminders for the optional live sessions. These are a chance to ask questions about the content of the program, and also there'll be a chance for us to practice some internal body awareness together online. So we're almost finished with video 2 of week 1, and I've included a reminder here that the content shared in this pilot program or any of the linked materials are not intended and should not be construed as health or medical advice, and nor is the information a substitute for professional medical expertise or treatment. So whenever you're ready, please proceed to video 3 of week 1, where I'll be explaining what a blob of ink dispersing in water has got to do with your body and body awareness. Thank you very much for your time.